What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Portia, also known as the Travelling Southern Belle, and I'm here with a video on how to survive TNT and not get kicked off your trainer's truck. So if you want to know how to do all of that, stay tuned. Alright, so this video was highly suggested by my trainer, okay? She was like, if I could just have more students like you, there would not need to be any reason to put anyone off my truck. Okay? So, here's how to survive TNT and not get kicked off your trainer's truck. I hear about trainers dropping their trainees off at the terminal. They don't make it out of a truck stop, or they just overall have to get dropped off close to home. Okay, that's just how it is. So the first thing Prime is going to do when they get ready to pair you with a trainer, I got my list. They're going to have you take an assessment test. And this assessment test is based on your learning style and your personality. They want to match you with a trainer that's going to be close to where you live, your personality, and are they going to be able to train in a way that you will quickly learn, okay? So when you take that assessment test, be honest, okay? Be as honest as possible. It might take you a minute to get a trainer, and it might take quickly to get a trainer. All right, it just depends on you. All right, so after they give you the assessment, your trainer also takes the same assessment. That way, that's how they know to pair y'all. And it's through this whole little system that they use. You're gonna get a call from your trainer. That is your time. They will either set up a time, like if they're at the terminal, they'll set up a time to meet up with you if they're already there. But if they're not there, then they'll text you and, ask when's the best time to give you a phone call. Your PSD trainer, because there's so many students, or there has been so many students and not enough PSD and TNT trainers, you might get a pad trainer for your PSD phase, and then you'll get a different trainer for your TNT phase. So you won't always have the same person. But when you do get that phone call, that is your time to interview your trainer. Now, when I say interview your trainer, like y'all are really going back and forth, asking questions, getting to know each other. And that is your time to ask them how many times do they plan to go home? Is there a certain way that they do things? You just get a feel for their energy over the phone. Just have, those general business-like questions, and then the conversation will flow from there, and you will know whether or not if y'all are a good match. Just don't be so quick to take a trainer just because they give you a call and say, hey, I'm your trainer. Ask questions. How often are they taking showers? Do they have any bottles on their truck? I hear about pee bottles and all that. Or phone conversations, like are they texting and driving or on the phone? Are you allowed to be, in your TNT phase? Now, PSD phase, you're not going to be able to use a phone like Bluetooth device. But TNT, are you allowed to, do you get time, to have those conversations, to call home and stuff like that? Like, ask all the questions, okay? And that is also a good time to let them know your weaknesses and your strengths. Well, not weaknesses, but your areas of opportunity. Your strengths. Yeah, I can go over pet peeves, things of that nature. That is your time to do that. Okay. Then, after, if the phone conversation goes well, they'll, reach out to the fleet manager and let them know, like, hey, I think this might be a good match. When they finally come to pick you up, take a look at their truck, like the cleanliness level of their truck. Like, somebody can say, hey, I keep my truck clean, but then when you get on there, it's an odor, it's a mess. Like, if y'all just like talk to people in these Facebook groups, and get their experience, like, hopefully they're honest with y'all, but a lot goes on, okay? One of my friends, her trainer, when she called and had conversations with him before she got picked up, he was like, yeah, I'm clean, or whatever. And like, when she got on his truck, he was not clean, okay? And it smelled. So yeah. So make sure you take a look at the truck before you start to put all your stuff on there and you comfortable with it, okay? Communicate as much as possible with your trainer while you're on the truck. I say when you're on home time, like, I know you want that to be your home time, but just make sure you're staying updated on when you're getting picked up. Is there anything you need to know? Is there anything that you need to get before you get on the truck? Prime gives you a list of items suggested, but remember that everything that you bring on the truck, you have to put on the top bunk, because that's where you be sleeping when the truck is stopped. And when the truck is rolling, you have to sleep on the bottom bunk. So make sure you have a sleeping bag and all that to put on top of their bed, because you don't want to be sleeping on their covers and stuff like that. But communication is very important, especially when you have questions and don't understand anything, or if you don't understand something. It's really important to communicate. Now, like I said in my previous video, because we were so much alike, we bumped heads maybe once or twice or whatever. And it was basically because we do things different. Like, I'm a more pragmatic process type person, and she did things that, because she had been doing it for so long, it made sense to her. So just know that everything that your trainer is showing you, you don't necessarily have to take everything that they're showing you and do it the exact same way. And if you find a process that's easier for you to do to reach the same result, then yeah, do that when you get out on your own. But if your trainer does something a certain way on their truck, remember to do it the way that they're showing you. That way you can build a habit and then go on your own and tweak that habit. It's a very small space being on the truck with someone that you really don't know. So remember to be humble. It's like you are a guest in their house. That truck is 9 times out of 10, they're home away from home. So you are a guest in their house. And you don't want to feel like you're overstaying your welcome. So by doing that, to avoid that feeling, it will be wise to try to learn how they like to keep their truck, and I hate to have to say this for adults, but try to like maintain your space and put things back the way they had it. Because when you get out their truck, they don't want to have to look for anything that they had in a particular space, but you moved it because you thought it was better in that space. Don't do that. Like, put things back. And I used to catch myself like, I know you like it this way, so I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I put it this way before we switch shifts. Just take the initiative. Remember that you are a guest in someone's little home away from home, and to try not to overstay your welcome, because small space, it can be a stressful situation, and the smallest little thing can like just tick them off, and it's like, I'm ready for you to get off my truck. All right. This is a learning experience before it is an adventure experience. Now, we did stop and do things when we had the downtime, but her goal was to make sure that I know everything that I needed to know before I got off her truck. So please make sure that you are asking questions and taking notes. Nobody likes to repeat themselves, but take notes. Sometimes it can be a learning experience for the both of you guys at the same time, because not everyone goes through the same situation or scenario every drive shift. So some things can be totally new, or they just do things out of habit and never actually had to think about the process or the logic behind what they do. Okay. This is not in my list, but when you feel the need, because everyone has that time when they need to get away and like have some personal time to themselves, and y'all don't have a home time scheduled, on your 30-minute break, get out of the truck and go for a walk and just woosah. Being in the truck in a small space with someone for days on end can be tiresome. So get out of the truck and move your body a little bit. Even if you're just walking back and forth to the store, walking through the fuel aisles, just get out and walk and get your body moving, get you a fresh, some fresh air. And that goes back to when you're communicating. If you don't agree with something that your trainer is telling you to do, or you don't see why they're doing it that way, in the heat of the moment is not the perfect time for you to question the instructions that they're giving you, unless you feel like it's not safe. Do it and then go back and ask like, hey, I didn't understand why you did this, or because you need the time to think it through. And then it gives them time to, when you do come and ask them, hey, I didn't understand why you did this. And then y'all talk about, how it could have been done, or their process of or reasoning why they do something the way they do it. Then it starts to make sense to you. But when you're already in a low temperance mind frame, it's not gonna go well. So if I didn't understand something and it didn't make sense to me, because I'm still working on this attachment to logic, and I'm working on just going with the flow, but I have this need to want to question and poke and prod if it doesn't make sense until it makes sense to me. So I just learned that to go with the flow. But if it's something that I feel like I really need to understand, then I'll ask the question. But I'm really good at waiting until after the fact and saying, hey, I didn't understand why we did it that way, or did I do something wrong? Is it the way that I did it? Like I'm okay with asking that because I need that feedback. But some people might take it as combative or argumentative when you do it in the moment. And that's not something that you want, because that turns into a whole different conversation or situation. And that could lead you to get kicked off your trainer's truck. What else? My last thing is don't hit anything. And I put that last is because I didn't hit anything, but I did get in a couple of sticky situations with like a misturn or a wrong turn. And we just like, I knew, she said that by the time you get off my truck, you're going to learn how to finagle your way through some tight spaces. And I have. Okay, there's been 2 times I was like, you know what, I need some help. Like, I didn't want to wake her up, or, I need some help. And it was both times it was a misturn or a wrong turn. But yeah, don't hit anything because you will get miles added. And thank goodness I didn't hit anything. I didn't get miles added. I actually am lucky enough to upgrade early. So yeah, also watch your attitude. That goes back into being humble. Like, please make sure that you are being humble. I moved the camera, I didn't mean to. Watch your attitude. Like, you gotta watch how you interact with your trainer. Like, yeah, y'all can become friends, but first things first is business, especially if they are a lease operator. That is a business that they are running. So they are going to first business, and then second is the relationship that y'all build, because you want to be able to have this as a potential lifelong connection. You should be able to call them once you get out of training if you need any help or have any questions, and be able to lean on them for support. But if you don't build that connection, you won't have the support that you're looking for. So just be mindful on how you interact with your trainer. I really stress to keep it professional part while you're in training. Keep it professional. My trainer, like, we were great together. Like, we were like sisters. I don't like the way that we were paired up. It was really an amazing journey through the TNT phase. Like, I learned a lot from her. Like I said in my last video, about trucking, being able to finally make the decision to go lease, and just life in general. So you want to be able to have that rapport with your trainer, but just remember, business first. Okay. I think that's really all I have. Hopefully it satisfies everything on how to survive TNT, without getting kicked off your trainer's truck. I just also, if it's still winter weather by the time y'all get on the roads, because part of the country has this funny weather pattern, you just take your time. Like, if you are in a situation that you don't feel comfortable with, communicate with your trainer, and ask, that they coach you through sticky situations. Like, if you're already on the road, don't be afraid to wake them up and say, hey, because they signed up to be a trainer, and I used to be scared to I used to not want to wake her up, but she was like, no, I'm glad you made it through, but if you ever feel uncomfortable, wake me up. I signed up for this. So yeah. But hopefully, if y'all have anything to add to this video, leave it in the comments. Everyone has their own way on how to survive. Make sure that y'all keep in contact with people that you meet in orientation, so you'll know how their process is going. But I just want to wish y'all good luck for those who are currently in their TNT phase, just getting started, or thinking about coming to Prime. The Travelling Southern Belle is signing out right here. Peace.